Hello everybody, it's Peter with an I, S-T-A-W-A-R-T. Welcome to segment 7 of, I don't know, the Dark Tower, I guess? I'll say a quick word about one of my other YouTube projects, the PS Viola series, in which I show you exactly what keys to press on the saxophone to play songs. Some of these songs were used for this audio project. The YouTube title for each song is PS Viola-some number -0. Why are they titled that way? Learning music, learning anything for that matter, is not just about the information contained in that particular lesson. There's a world of factors which motivate you to learn. One way to make learning exciting is if there's a show or performance or occasion for you to demonstrate what you learned. It's fun and exciting for the person learning. If you feel confident enough to record and post your own performance, you can post it as part of the PS Viola series. For example, if you learn the first song, PS Viola-1-0, well enough to post a video of your own performance, you would post it under the title PS Viola-1-1. But if PS Viola-1-1 is taken, you would use PS Viola-1-2. And if that's taken, PS Viola-1-3. And if that's taken, PS Viola-1-4. And so on. You can see other people's performances of that song, and they can see yours. And now back to, I don't know, the Dark Tower, I guess?
Not scary. As the dentist pressed a switch, and the hydraulics of a tall pedestal lowered the chair from its elevated position near the glass ceiling and vantage, Nancy's eyes roamed over the different black and white pictures framed on the wall. Each one was of a scared face, as if the person were startled somehow. There weren't just a few pictures. The walls were covered with them. The dentist had more pictures than Beppo. When the chair came down, Nancy had a seat. "Hey, when we're done, can I ride up to the top and look out the windows?" she asked. "It's not really built for that," said the dentist. "Oh," said Nancy. She knew it was made for that, and so did he. He just didn't want to share. Resting in the seat, Nancy looked forward while the dentist toiled behind her. "Well, we're going to start out with this new tool I have," he said. Before Nancy could turn to look, the dentist gunned a loud chainsaw right in front of her, as if he was going to cut her face off. At that moment, the light positioned overhead flashed. It took a moment for Nancy to recover from the shock. The dentist was laughing and put his chainsaw back into the hiding place located behind the reclining chair. "Don't worry, that's just my little joke to help new patients relax," he said as he switched his graphy machine from X-ray graphy to photography. The dentist laughed, ho ho ho, as they proceeded. He put the clamps on her that held her mouth open, stretching out her lips like they were a dried-up rubber band. Usually the dentist would chat with her, making her speak, but at the same time warning her that if her tongue got a hair too close to his laser cleaner, it would be sliced off and wiggle on the floor like a saltwater eel. If this sort of thing ever did happen, and somebody's tongue did get cut off, the dentist thought it would be funny to sew somebody else's tongue on there. A long, wide one that the person could hardly fit into their mouth. Something they could carry wine glasses on. Or maybe even replace it with a different organ altogether. The dentist grinned to himself, imagining a girl going to whisper a sweet nothing in a boy's ear. He would pull back with a giggle, thinking she had played a joke by wetting her finger and sticking it in his ear, and suddenly realized there was a finger in place of her tongue. And then she would lick her lips with her finger, and it would look like she had just eaten somebody whole and they were struggling to get out. As the boy would be backing up in horror, she could open wide and pick her nose. "Uh-oh, cavities," said the dentist, wishing people would take better care of their teeth, which were inevitably his teeth. "So," said Nancy, lisping through her clamps, "do you think we should use gold or silver?" The dentist grinned a pleasant grin as he turned a valve. "I have something a lot better we can use." he said as he pulled the mask over her nose and mouth. Gas, he said as he turned up the pressure. Over the hissing sound, Nancy could hear him laughing and fumbling with metal tools. Chapter 7. Frank had been preparing himself for disappointment the whole time he was walking home and when he went to bed. But in his mind, he knew he would get a response, and he knew things would turn out beautifully. He was right, and he was wrong. When he got up the next morning, he found a note wedged in his screen door. It was a reply to his flyer, explaining how he was needed to do some work at the old house he almost passed up the day before, the house on the Horn. So in that respect, he was right. He was wrong in believing that everything would be peaches and cream. When the door to the house opened, it came as quite a shock to see who it was. "Hey, Franco, you crusted buzzard, how are ya?" Potty Mouth greeted him. Frank was surprised. Not only because Potty Mouth was the one who answered his flyer, but more so because he wasn't mad at him. Frank could have sworn that at their last meeting, Potty Mouth told him to go to hell. And Frank assumed that if they ever crossed paths again, Potty Mouth would send him there himself. That may be so, but the way Potty Mouth remembered it, they were the best of friends, and their reunion at the mall was just dandy. In fact, after a quick inventory of all his personal relationships, Frank was his best friend. Best and only. Potty Mouth talked his ear off about this, that, and the other, as Frank walked around with him while he talked about different enemies he had made, exaggerated about the behavior of different people he was angry with.
"So all I ask is, can I have another cashier?" And she just goes, "Wah!"
And went into detail about all the ideas he had for getting back at them.
They think they're gonna get away with it.
Frank wondered if he was getting paid for the time he spent there. Potty Mouth talked and talked. He was being friendly enough to Frank, but Frank found that just listening to such bile was tougher than any job he had ever known. It was like ingesting poison for a living.
"So that dirty SOB is not gonna get away with it. I'm gonna get back at him."
Frank wasn't sure if it was some sort of poisonous bush he had rubbed against, or if it was just Potty Mouth's toxic character that was causing him to be nauseous and lightheaded. Instead of concentrating on finding inappropriate pause and quickly say that he needed to go, Frank just let his knees go weak and tumbled to the ground. Most normal people would be very concerned, but Potty Mouth wasn't even fazed. He just said, "Oh, here, I'll get you some water. Just wait here." And he quickly made his way back to the house. While he was gone, Frank tried to muster the will to crawl over to the ledge of the cliff and roll to freedom, as Potty Mouth quickly went to the kitchen to pour him a glass of gross-tasting lemonade and wrap a stale cookie in a napkin. He wondered how much he should pay Frank, but quickly decided that he would pay any price to keep him there. He had quite a lot of money left over from buying the house, and yet he would pay 10 times that amount for something 1/10 the size, and it had nothing to do with the amount of landscaping that needed to be done. It had to do with something worse. He hated that place, and knew it would only be tolerable if Frank were there with him.